Welcome to NFL Nexus, where we really get into the game behind the game. Today, you and I are going to put on our general manager hats because we're about to architect a franchise's entire future. So, how do you build a real Super Bowl contender? I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? Every single front office, every coach, every fan, we all ask it. And you know what? The answer is never as simple as just go get the best players. No. It's about strategy, it's about timing, and it's about making some incredibly tough financial decisions that are going to have ripple effects for years. It's really like a high-stakes chess match, but your pieces are contracts and salary caps. And that's exactly why we're diving deep into the Washington Commanders' upcoming 2026 offseason. I mean, they are at a critical crossroads. The moves they make, or, the ones they don't make, are going to decide whether they build a true championship window or if they just stay stuck in the middle of the pack. This right here, this is going to be a masterclass in roster construction. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this whole thing down. We've got a four-part plan. First, we'll set the stage at that 2026 crossroads. Then, Phase 1, we'll get our hands dirty clearing up some cap space. After that, Phase 2 is all about spending that new cash wisely. And finally, we'll put it all together to show you the complete blueprint. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1. So before we start cutting players in signing deals, it's so important to understand the pressure cooker this front office is in. This isn't just another offseason, folks. This is a defining moment for the entire franchise. So here's the game plan, the core philosophy. The goal isn't just to, maybe squeak into the playoffs next year. The goal is to build a roster that can compete for a Super Bowl for the next 3, 4, even 5 years. And that takes a surgical two-phase operation. First, you have to clear out the inefficient contracts. Then, and only then, you reinvest those resources into your own guys, your ascending, high-value players. It's all about maximizing your return on every single dollar. Okay, let's get to Phase 1. This is where the really tough decisions get made. See, to build something new, you gotta be willing to tear some of the old stuff down. Creating cap space, that's the essential first step that makes everything else we're gonna talk about even possible. A lot of people think of the salary cap as just this hard limit, a restriction. But the really smart GMs in this league, they see it as a strategic asset, just like a first-round draft pick. Think of it like a pool of money that you absolutely have to manage with ruthless efficiency. You can't overpay for guys because you like them or because of what they did 3 years ago. Every single dollar has to be working towards one thing, winning a championship. And speaking of efficiency, our very first move is, it's a total no-brainer. We're starting with a player who came in with a big name, a big reputation, and an even bigger contract, but the performance just hasn't matched the price tag. This one, while it's a big deal, is one of the clearest and easiest decisions the team has to make. Just look at that number. $18.5 million. That is pure, clean cap savings. And the best part? 0 dead money. That's huge. That means no money paid to a player who isn't even on your team anymore. So by moving on from cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, the Commanders instantly create this massive pile of financial firepower. And look, you can totally understand why they made the trade in the first place, right? Back in 2024, they thought they were getting a legit cornerstone for their secondary. Lattimore's resume was stacked. Defensive Rookie of the Year, multiple Pro Bowls. He was supposed to be that lockdown corner they'd been looking for. But oh boy, the reality on the field told a completely different and, a pretty brutal story. A PFF grade of 52.1, that's not just bad for a starter. It's borderline unplayable. Being ranked 96th at your position means you're basically a liability every time you're out there, and you just cannot pay a liability $18.5 million, period. And this wasn't some fluke, a one-off bad year. It was a clear pattern of decline and disruption. He was barely on the field after the trade in 2024. Then in 2025, it was just obvious he lost a step. You add in the on-field temper tantrums leading to stupid penalties, and then an off-field arrest that just created a bunch of unnecessary drama, and the decision basically makes itself. He became financial dead weight. This is a classic case of addition by subtraction. Okay, our next move isn't going to grab the headlines like the first one, but listen, in the world of salary cap management, every single dollar matters. This next cut saves a cool $3.6 million, and it comes from the O-line by releasing guard Nick Allegri. You can think of this as trimming the fat, making the roster leaner, meaner, and more efficient. And this slide right here, it perfectly illustrates the cold, hard reality of the NFL. I mean, look at the past. A 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Chiefs, signed to a pretty good deal, started every single game in 2024. Solid, right? But now look at the present. He lost his starting job to a younger, cheaper player in Chris Paul. He instantly became a very expensive backup. His past accomplishments are absolutely respected, but you can't pay that kind of money to a guy who isn't on the field for you. All right, on to our third and final move in phase 1. And this one's different. This isn't a cut. This is a smart, proactive investment that actually creates cap space. We're talking about restructuring the contract of one of the absolute best players in the entire league, left tackle Laremy Tunsil. This move alone can free up around $15 million in immediate space. And you want to know the best part? The player himself is totally on board. Tunsil has come out and said it publicly. He wants to stay, he wants to get paid, he wants a new deal. I mean, when your star player is basically inviting you to the negotiating table for a long-term team-friendly deal, you don't walk, you run. You get that thing done. This is the definition of a win-win situation. And if you're wondering why you make this move, just look at the data. It's undeniable. His overall grade puts him at number 6 among all tackles. His pass blocking grade, number 2 in the entire NFL. Think about that. In a league where protecting your quarterback is everything, having the second best pass protector in the game is a luxury you absolutely cannot afford to lose. He is the definition of a cornerstone player. He's the bodyguard for your franchise QB. So, here's the nuts and bolts of how this works financially. Tunsil's got this huge $24.95 million cap hit coming up in 2026. By signing him to a new long-term extension, the Commanders can take a big chunk of that salary and convert it into a signing bonus. Then, the accountants get to spread the cap hit from that bonus over the entire life of the new contract. So what's the result? Tunsil gets his long-term security, and boom, the team's 2026 cap number drops like a rock, freeing up millions in new money to spend. It is, without a doubt, the smartest move on the board. Okay, let's do the math. We cut Lattimore, we released Allegrati, and we restructured Tunsil. Put it all together, and the Washington Commanders have just created roughly $37.1 million in brand new cap space. They've built a war chest. Phase 1 is officially complete. Now, it's time to spend it wisely. All right, we've cleared the books. We've created a massive amount of financial breathing room. Now, we pivot to phase 2. This is where we stop cutting costs and we start making smart strategic investments. And the number one rule of smart spending, you take care of your own rising stars before you even think about shopping somewhere else. And priority number 1 has to be one of the best feel-good developmental stories in the entire league, Chris Paul. A guy drafted in the 7th round, player number 230, who didn't just become a starter. He became one of the very best at his position. His pressure rate was just 3.18%. That was the 5th best among all left guards in the NFL. That's elite-level production from a player who is basically an afterthought on draft day. And for a player like that, you do the right thing. You reward him. A projected contract of 3 years, $30 million, that's a huge payday, and it is 100% earned. This move sends a powerful message to every single guy in that locker room. If you work hard, if you outperform your contract, if you develop your skills right here, this organization will take care of you. That's how you build a winning culture. Okay, so our new cornerstone guard is locked up. Now the focus shifts to keeping some critical depth pieces around. Look, championship teams aren't just built on their 22 starters. They're built on that 30th, 35th, 40th guy on the roster. And in this case, the Commanders absolutely need to bring back 2 key veterans, pass rusher Jacob Martin and wide receiver Treylon Burks. Let's start with Jacob Martin. His projected salary is only about $3 million. For the production he gives you, that is an absolute steal. The guy stepped up big time when the team had injuries, racking up 5.5 sacks and 45 pressures. In today's NFL, you can never have enough guys who can get to the quarterback, and Martin gives you that as a reliable veteran presence at an incredibly efficient price. Now with Treylon Burks, it's a little different. Re-signing him is less about his season stats and more about keeping that high-end talent and big play potential in your wide receiver room. I mean, we all saw that ridiculous one-handed touchdown grab against the Broncos, right? That's just a little flash of the special ability he has. He might not be a starter, but having a guy with that kind of ceiling as your 4th or 5th receiver is an incredible luxury, especially when injuries inevitably hit during a long season. All right, we have cleared the cap space. We've reinvested it in our core guys. Now it's time to put it all together and take a look at the final, complete blueprint for the Washington Commanders' 2026 off-season transformation. This slide right here, this tells the whole story. It summarizes the entire philosophy in one clean shot. Look at the out column, an expensive, underperforming corner, and an overpaid backup. Now look at the retained/extended column, an elite top 2 left tackle locked in for the long haul. A homegrown 7th rounder who became a top 5 guard gets his reward. And 2 valuable, cheap depth pieces are secured. This is a masterclass in asset management. So what's the bottom line? Why does all this matter? Well, let's just tick the boxes. Did we create financial flexibility? Yep, over $37 million of it. Did we lock down our most important players? You bet. We secured our franchise left tackle and our star guard. Did we keep valuable role players? We did, with Martin and Burks. And here's the most important part, that last bullet point. After doing all of this, the Commanders still have a huge pile of cash to go attack the rest of free agency and to build through the draft. This isn't the end of the plan, people. This is the foundation that makes the rest of the plan possible. Hey, if you've been enjoying this deep dive, this little peek behind the curtain of an NFL front office, we would be so grateful if you'd consider helping support the channel. We are super passionate about this stuff, and honestly, your support is what allows us to keep making these detailed explainers for you. And there are a few really simple ways you can do that. First, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss our next team building blueprint. Second, if you learned something new today, do us a favor and click the like button. It really helps the channel out more than you know. And finally, we genuinely want to hear from you. Drop down to the comments and let us know, with all the money they've now saved, who is the one free agent you would sign to this Commanders roster? And hey, if you're looking for another way to support what we do here at NFL Nexus, you can check out our custom NFL coloring books. Seriously, they're perfect for kids, grandkids, or even for you adults out there looking for a relaxing way to show some team pride. You can find them by clicking the link down in the description or by just scanning the QR code right here on your screen. So, we'll leave you with this final question to debate amongst yourselves. We've laid the foundation. The money's right. The core is secure. Now what? What's that final championship-winning piece? Is it a blue-chip pass rusher in the draft? Maybe a blockbuster trade for a star receiver? Or do you make a big splash in free agency for a stud safety? What is the one move that takes this team from being good to being truly great? Thanks for watching.